So in 2016, coming out of the oil boom through Texas, a lot of cheap Chinese hose entered into the market space and was readily available and started to make its way into the Midwest into manure application. And if you have a leak in a hose in manure application, you put it where it's not supposed to be, you can be fined $10,000 an instance or more, depending on the severity of it. So in 2017, me and actually Ben England at the time was working with us. We set out to go figure out how to build a hose plant. And we were going to build it here in Manning because we didn't know any better, right? We were building everything else. We just as well fix this problem too. So we spent some time flying around the world looking at other hose manufacturing plants because there's only about 12 of them in existence in the world today, give or take. And in 2017, fall, right? I met Rusty for the first time. We went to the hose plant in North Carolina, which we were representing their product with somebody who was going to buy that business, and we were just going to be the main customer. And those people gave a bad presentation and put a bad taste in the seller's mouth. And that December 2017, they called and said the seller, it's an English company, Angus UK, called and said, "Would you still be interested in buying this? I want to close it up before the end of the year." And so we had to figure out how we were going to find a couple $1 million real quick, which we didn't do. And but 3 months later, we were able to put a plan together, took a team of people down there, and got the place bought and rebranded as BullDog, and kind of set sail from there. But I met Rusty in that fall, and I've had a privilege working with him since.
Tell him why we call it BullDog.
So Dad says, tell him why you called it BullDog. So most of you will probably understand, but we went back and forth of all kinds of different names, and we was an asset purchase, so we didn't get the name. We couldn't use Angus, but we got their brands. So after back and forth on all kinds of different names, we couldn't settle. One day when I was talking to Rusty, I said, "What's the local school around here? What's their mascot?" He goes, "Well, I don't even remember what you are today." Yeah. They're the Trojans today, but they went through consolidation. And we had just went through consolidation here at ICAM Manning in 2008 and became the Wolves, and we were the Bulldogs. Well, pre-consolidation, they were the Bulldogs also. They used the Georgia Bulldog mascot. We used a lot of different mascots, but it was a Bulldog. So that was it. Just like that is how it became BullDog Hose, was because of their high school mascot and our old high school mascot.
Okay, next we'll turn it over to Rusty, and if you could, just from your side, when you first met Jeremy, and what your thought was, and then kind of how the integration onto the puck team has gone, and how you've become a part of the team.
So in 2017, I got a phone call. It said, "Come, we need to talk about the meeting that they just had with the board. And the outcome of the meeting is we're going to shut your plant down." It wasn't very good. So the good news is Jeremy came to visit, and I just thought he was so different than anybody that I've ever dealt with in those situations. The plant had been sold 3 or 4 times. I'd been a part of those sales. I'd go along with those sales, but every time it was an investment person. It was just so different. So the good news is Jeremy was the one who stuck by us and said, "Hey, I want it, and are you interested?" We were definitely. And so in March, the sale happens, and he says, "We need to make 8 and 10-inch hose. That's the priority. And we need to fix your drag hose." And so we had made very little 8 and 10-inch hose, and what we'd made was a UK variety. And he said, "It's junk. It's not good enough. You got to make something better." I was like, "I don't know if I can." He said, "You're going to make it better. I got faith." And so we start down this path, and for a year, I throw hose in the trash, and I think, "Oh my Lord, he has made the worst decision of his life." And I feel terrible for letting him down. But the good news is every time we failed, we learned something new. And since then, the same thing has happened. And over time, the things that we have learned have made us so successful in a way that we never would have been before under prior ownership. Nobody had the faith, or I guess the future thought, to know what we could do today. That 8-inch hose that's laying on the field today that you watch flow water, we won a huge military contract away from our competitors, because Jeremy had the faith and continued to invest and let us learn how to make hose. And we took it away from them because they couldn't, and they didn't have the investment. And if we had won it before Jeremy bought us, we would have failed miserably. And I told those guys, I said, "You just don't understand it was a good thing we lost that contract, because we would have been just like those guys, and now we aren't. Because this gentleman in Iowa trusted us, and he spent a pile of money investing in us and believing in us, and now we can give you something that's going to work. So it's so different for working for a family organization that cares about the employees, it doesn't talk about layoffs, it wants things better and better every time we do something, and it's nice. So I feel blessed, the people at home feel blessed to be a part of this organization.